It was a case that seized the nation's attention, a story of a missing child that unfolded into a maelstrom of lies, bizarre behavior, and a courtroom drama that left a country divided. The Caylee Anthony case, centered around the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee, became a media spectacle, a social media trial of the century that raised as many questions as it answered. The story began not with a frantic call to the police, but with a month of unsettling silence. Caylee Anthony was last seen alive on June 16, 2008. For 31 days, her mother, Caylee Anthony, went about her life with an unnerving nonchalance. While her daughter was missing, Caylee was photographed at nightclubs, participating in a hot body contest and getting a tattoo that read Bella Vita, the beautiful life. This behavior would later become a focal point of public outrage and a key element in the prosecution's portrayal of a young mother eager to shed her parental responsibilities. It wasn't until July 15, 2008, that the alarm was finally raised. Caylee's mother, Cindy Anthony, made a series of frantic 911 calls. In one, she reported her granddaughter missing, stating she hadn't seen her in a month. In another, she was more direct. "I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car." When finally confronted by law enforcement, Caylee Anthony spun a web of lies that would quickly unravel. She claimed that a nanny named Zenaida Fernandez-Gonzalez, or Zanny, had kidnapped Caylee. She led investigators to an apartment complex, but the apartment she pointed to had been vacant for months. The supposed nanny, Zenaida Fernandez-Gonzalez, was a real person, but she had never met Caylee Anthony or her daughter. Caylee also lied about her employment, telling investigators she worked at Universal Studios. She even took them on a tour of the theme park before finally admitting she no longer worked there. These blatant falsehoods led to her arrest on July 16, 2008, on charges of child neglect, giving false statements, and obstruction of an investigation. The investigation into Caylee's disappearance intensified, with law enforcement and volunteers conducting extensive searches. The case took a grim turn with the discovery of Caylee's impounded car. Caylee's father, George Anthony, and the tow yard manager both reported a strong odor from the trunk, a smell they independently identified as that of human decomposition. Forensic analysis of the car's trunk revealed a collection of circumstantial but damning evidence. A single 9-inch strand of hair, microscopically similar to Caylee's, showed signs of decomposition, including a dark banding at the root. An FBI expert testified that this was consistent with hair from a dead body. Air samples from the trunk contained high levels of chloroform, a chemical that can be used to render someone unconscious. Investigators also found evidence of insect activity consistent with a decomposing body. However, the most significant search was on the family's home computer. Investigators found searches for chloroform and, more chillingly, foolproof suffocation. While the defense would later try to attribute the chloroform search to Cindy Anthony, the foolproof suffocation search, which was not introduced at trial due to being overlooked by investigators, painted a sinister picture. On December 11, 2008, the search for Caylee came to a heartbreaking end. Her skeletal remains were found in a wooded area near the Anthony family home, stuffed in a laundry bag inside a trash bag. Duct tape was found on the skull, a detail that would become a central point of contention in the trial. The medical examiner ruled the death a homicide, but could not determine the exact cause of death due to the advanced state of decomposition. The trial of Caylee Anthony began on May 24, 2011, and for 6 weeks, the nation was captivated by the legal battle that unfolded. The prosecution, led by Jeff Ashton and Linda Drain Burdick, presented a case built on a mountain of circumstantial evidence. They argued that Caylee, wanting to live a life free from the responsibilities of motherhood, had murdered her daughter. Their theory was that she used chloroform to subdue Caylee and then suffocated her with duct tape. They pointed to Caylee's behavior in the 31 days Caylee was missing as evidence of her guilt, portraying her as a cold, callous, and selfish party girl. The defense, led by the charismatic and aggressive Jose Baez, countered with a shocking and unexpected narrative. In his opening statement, Baez admitted that Caylee had died on June 16, 2008, but claimed it was a tragic accident. He told the jury that Caylee had drowned in the family's swimming pool and that a panicked Casey, along with her father, George Anthony, had covered up the death. To explain Casey's pattern of lying, Baez dropped another bombshell. He alleged that Caylee had been sexually abused by her father since she was a child, a trauma that had taught her to live in a world of denial and deception. The trial was a parade of expert witnesses and emotional testimony. The prosecution presented their forensic evidence: the smell from the car, the hair from the trunk, the chloroform searches, and the duct tape. In turn, the defense attacked the credibility of the forensic evidence, labeling it fantasy forensics. They brought in their own experts to dispute the findings of the prosecution's witnesses, creating a battle of scientific opinion that left the jury to decide who to believe. After less than 11 hours of deliberation, the jury of 7 women and 5 men reached a verdict that stunned the nation. On July 5, 2011, Caylee Anthony was found not guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter of a child. She was convicted on 4 misdemeanor counts of providing false information to a law enforcement officer. The verdict was met with a wave of public outrage. The media, which had extensively covered the case, was filled with commentators expressing their disbelief and disgust. The case exposed the complexities of the justice system, the challenges of proving a case based on circumstantial evidence, and the profound impact of media on high-profile cases. For many, the name Caylee Anthony will forever be synonymous with a sense of justice denied and a heartbreaking mystery that may never be truly solved.